Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to a special review for the Neil Young Archives Volume 3 box set. I just got mine in the mail, so I'm literally going to cut into this thing with you and open it. I'm also going to talk to you guys about the single disc album that was only available from his website called Takes, and this has 16 tracks on it, one from each of 16 CDs in the box set. So there's also that to discuss in here. We'll break it all down and do that in just a bit. But of course, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, if you turn on notifications, hey, you're never going to miss an episode, especially cool ones like this, where this just arrived in the mail. We're going to cut it into it. I really hope it's okay. It's got some dented corners on it. We're going to see. And so we're going to do that right now because I can't wait any longer to get into this thing. So let me pull out my trusty X-Acto knife and we'll cut into this thing and hopefully all is going to be okay. I'm kind of actually surprised by how small at least the packaging, maybe not so much what this is in the end of the day, but it does seem very minimal. So we're gonna open this up and there you go. There's actually no protection in this whatsoever. All right, two nice crisp corners there. And it looks like I'm okay on this end. Let's pop the whole thing out and see. All right, so first of all, I'm just actually looking for, there we go, good confirmation because it looks identical to my volume 1 box that is this size that says Neil on it. Hopefully there's somewhere that says a 3 or something, but we do get that right here on the hype sticker. Volume 3, 1976 to 1987 CD edition, 17 CDs, 198 tracks on this. It has a 36-page booklet, fold out archives poster. Since this is the third volume of the Neil Young Archives series in the box set, it's produced by Neil. It's definitive, comprehensive, chronological record of his entire body of related works. I'm guessing they mean, of course, just from 76 to 87. An era that covered the releases of several classic albums, including Comes a Time, Rust Never Sleeps, Live Rust, and Trans. And I'm surprised they're calling that a classic album because I always thought that one was not. I love it a lot for its electronic sound, so I'm actually looking forward to getting some of those unreleased tracks in here. It says it spans 11 years. This archive box set covers more years than the previous 2 box sets. It was an extremely productive and musical diverse period in Neil Young's career, which is totally true. The 17 CDs in this box set contain 15 unreleased songs and 121 unreleased versions, alternate versions, different takes, live tracks. 25 of these are original versions. The first time Neil recorded the songs included are the unreleased albums. There's 4 of them in here: Oceanside, Countryside, Johnny's Island, and Summer Songs. I'm hoping to get some more info on that as far as the box or the booklet is concerned inside here. And it says this edition contains 11 soft pack CDs, each holding 1 or 2 discs in their own custom sleeves. So it's not just 17 individuals. Some of these have, multiple volumes to it, kind of a thing. So, yeah, okay, we're gonna open this here in just a second. But before we dive into this, as I mentioned, we have this here, Takes. I just want to spend a minute on this because this was a very cool thing for him to do. Each of the tracks and an explanation of what it is and if it's previously unreleased version or whatnot, and the backside. And of course, this comes in the similar size that Neil Young has been doing for all of his recent albums in these cardboard cases, which I absolutely detest. Neil, I'd love you to get back to jewel cases, but okay, whatever. So 16 tracks in here. It's an interesting selection. I don't know how the overall box set's gonna feel in the end of the day, but this was a pretty mellow affair, and I was a little surprised about that. We do rock out at a couple points within this, but all in all, I found it to be a very mellow affair across the board. But in terms of a whole album that sequenced, it sounded really good, even though it was actually covering that 10-year span in here from 76 to 86. So, or sorry, 87, I think. But very cool to get this. So if you ordered this on his website, which is what I did and why it came the way that it did, they sent you this in advance. So I've had this since I did the pre-order. It came about a week after I did the pre-order on it, and I've had that the whole time. And the only way to get it if you want it and don't know if they're still available is from his website. There is no single CD edition of this being sold. However, there is a 2LP vinyl edition if you want to get that. There is no vinyl version of this. So there you can't get like a 17 vinyl box set of this. And I'm really surprised that Neil doesn't do that with all his talk about sound quality and that nature of stuff, wanting the highest quality. He doesn't do that. But then again, 17 vinyl discs would probably be an enormous price tag today. Whereas this right here, I want to say was like $230, $240 for 17 CDs. I felt like that was a pretty good deal and comparable to, the price of other things that he has done. But let's go ahead and cut into this here. I'm going to talk about each one of these. I'll give you an idea of what's on it. And I'm going to try and do this kind of very carefully. You can see I'm going in through the top on this because I love to save the hype stickers that are on these. So this box set, very much the same as he's done for the other ones with the magnetic center portion in here. So pull that off in the way that we open it like this, right? And then when you open up these two guys, you get all of your discs. So that's where all 11 of the soft packs are that are in here. And I did want to mention that beyond this smaller version, but I do like it because it's very compact. I have to check now because I remember this print being on the other one, whether or not we're forming a picture or we're not forming a picture in here of Neil as we build these things. I kind of hope we are. But there is a version of this that's a limited 5,000 copy edition that's also being sold. Well, in this case, I think only being sold via the website, that comes with 5 Blu-ray. This version here is just the CDs. There are no Blu-rays within this. Those 5 Blu-rays have 11 films on it, 4 of which are previously unreleased. That price tag was way too much for me. The total, if you add up all of the films plus the 17 CDs, it has 28 hours worth of music, which is pretty crazy. All in all, this whole thing put together by Rhino Records. They do this thing right. And so 198 tracks. We're going to dive into it right now. 15 of these previously unreleased in any format, and I kind of wish you would have just made one album of that and put that out, but they're spread across the whole thing. So let's see. I got to look at this now. That's disc 11. So we'll start over here with these. Trying to figure out where is the disc 1. Wow, they do it backwards in here. So let me get these out. Okay, here's our book. So there you go, small CD size book in here. I'm gonna open it up there. I actually like the Neil Young logo that it is. And so I'm kind of hoping this really gets into some in-depth detail about each of the tracks or the periods and what we're talking about. And let's just see. Actually, no, this it's not a write-up. Wow. Okay, it literally is just disc 1, Across the Water, March 76, who it's produced by, and it goes track by track and it tells you who's playing, which is all the same stuff that's available on Wikipedia, which is what I had perused before opening any of this. Wow, that's a real bummer. There is no write-up or history of anything inside this. So I don't know if the bigger book that came in that limited 5,000 edition has any more info in it or not. But if it doesn't, I'm really glad I didn't shell out for that. Okay, so let's start in with this. We've got the first one here is CDs 1 and 2. Let me just double check. So discs, okay, I see how they're doing this. 1A, 1B. Is this one here, which is called Across the Water 1 and 2, 76, totaling 22 tracks on here, features live and studio editions of things. Each of the discs are just inside. There's no protective covering. There's no booklet, so it just slides right in like that. That is disc 1 and 2. And then we have Hitchhiking, which is from 76 to 77. There are 21 tracks total on this. But it does contain previously released material from the albums Hitchhiker, Songs for Judy, and The Last Waltz on it. So that's kind of a bummer. Very few actual unreleased tunes inside here. Again, we do not get a booklet or anything. It's a solid sealed here, and then the disc is in this portion of it. All right. Snapshot in Time. Very cool. I like the cover of that. We get 18 tracks on this. This is 1977. Nearly all unreleased studio tracks are on here except for a couple that appear on Chrome Dreams and American Stars and Bars. So, I actually had that backwards, I guess, because here's the spine. So there's that cover, but then they show that on the back side of it. So that's very interesting. Because we get 2 discs in this. So I guess these are technically related, or they just didn't want to spend the extra money on it, because Windward Passage, 1977, 9 tracks. 5 of the tracks are from High Flyin' with the Ducks. So that makes sense now that we're seeing that. Ducks, Windward Passage, 1977, and Snapshot. All right, so I'm learning this with you as I go through this, how it is, because I chose not to open it in advance. I wanted to do a true unboxing with you. So I apologize for not necessarily being more prepared and being specific right to the point on it, as I'm learning this along with you. Now, I just want to jump back to the ones that they called out. So far we haven't hit one of the unreleased albums, even though there is the Ducks Windward Passage listed as such on here. So I guess that whole thing is from that time period, and that is kind of the way that they've been grouping this on here, is that the albums themselves, even when they pull stuff from previously released albums, it's all something that was recorded at that time or in the same area. We'll get to one of these albums that's all recorded in Nashville. So just a refresher: Oceanside, Countryside, Johnny's Island, Summer Songs. I actually think it's 3, because I'm pretty sure Oceanside, Countryside are together in here, which actually leads us to the next one. So there you go. Oceanside, Countryside. This is an unreleased album, so we actually get the track listing on it. I'm pretty sure we are going to see an individual release of this. He's been doing that a lot with these things. We'll have to wait and see. I kind of hope not, because I shelled out, to get this. But all in all, yeah, so one of the unreleased albums. So it's an album like this that I'm going to be jumping to. It's got 12 tracks on it, unreleased versions and different mixes of songs. Some of these have things on here called rap. I assume what that is studio banter or a live intro to something. So when I do mention like 12 tracks, and I'm looking at this here, 2 of these say rap on it, and I know they're like 19 seconds or something like that on here. But Pocahontas is on this, so a different version of that. Human Highway is on here, so a 1977 version of that. That's very cool. Comes a Time is on here. So different versions of songs like those are appearing on this. Okay, then we have Union Hall. This one here, CD7, 1977, 19 tracks total, featuring 11 tracks that were recorded at Union Hall. But then we get 6 tracks recorded at different locations across Nashville, Union Hall also being in Nashville. So that's what I was talking about. They really should have named this disc Nashville, not Union Hall, because there's all this other stuff on here. But it says Union Hall, Give to the Wind Orchestra. Not sure what that's about, but Neil and Nicolette, that could be really interesting on here. So I guess they did it together. Nicolette Larson. So there you go. Wow, I'm actually getting really, really excited as I'm doing this unboxing with you guys. And the YouTube stuff, or not YouTube, sorry, the Wikipedia stuff I looked up in advance so that I would have a little bit of knowledge about this. Didn't go into as much detail as I'm kind of learning as I look at these things. All right, so next up we have the albums Boarding House 1 and 2. And so this side showing what it's showing, but then on this side it says Devo Boarding House 2. So I'm assuming, yeah, Devo is on this whole second disc. I don't know. But I do know that there are versions of like Hey Hey My on here, because that Devo did, because they're on this right here. So I actually had already heard those and kind of very excited about that. So there you go. Boarding House Volume 1, Boarding House Volume 2. There's a little inside of this thing. I will say this, I'm a little bummed that they have grouped the discs like this. I want to have individual cases with full art and the album track listing, which is on the bottom, but on the back side, the way that they had done for this, which is its own standalone album, art on the back, there's nothing extra. They didn't try to stick 2 CDs in it. I kind of wish that would be the case even for these Volume 1, Volume 2s, but I guess I can't really complain getting 17 CDs in here. All right, so that's the first one. We've got the entire second one here to do. Let me pull those out now. And this comes with the archive thing that shows, I'm not gonna open the whole thing because it's really crazy, but it shows his archives of how he stores everything. And I guess all this stuff is just listed within it, starting with 1976, Across the Water. And then I'm assuming it listing all the songs and stuff like that. So you kind of get to see where it all comes from and how he compiled it and put it together for this. Okay, so next thing up here is supposed to be Sedan Delivery. Oh, it is. Again, they've packaged 2 together. Sedan Delivery, 1978, featuring 10 tracks in here. 1 previously unreleased song, Bright Sunny Day, but the other 9 versions are previously released tracks, or not versions. The other 9 tracks are previously released from Rust Never Sleeps and Live Rust, but I guess as a whole, it was recorded in this manner, which is why he's putting it out this way. CD 11, Coastline, and is that one of our unreleased ones? No, okay, it's not, so good. So still, I want those as standalone discs. Coastline, 1980 to 81, 12 tracks, 3 previously unreleased. 9 of those, though, taken from Hawks and Doves and Reactor. So it's going to be interesting because Neil has always recorded and then done some piecemeal stuff. He has a session here, he has a session there, and he creates an album, as opposed to releasing everything from one session, which has made some albums kind of jarring and not as enjoyable. To me, that's the way Hawks and Dove is. It's not a great album because it's from different sessions. So now, if we get these, and some were released on Hawks and Dove, some were released on Reactor, and these 3 previously unreleased, but all recorded, whether or not at the exact same time or same studio, but maybe in the same vein, I think that's going to make these much more interesting. So, Sedan Delivery, Coastline. All right, next up is an interesting one. We get Trans with Johnny's Island. And this is intended to, even though it starts with Trans on there, the front side, and then switches over to that, this is one of the ones that Johnny's Island is listed as the unreleased album. So I guess it's really intended to be that, but ultimately I know the bulk of it became that, meaning Trans. So it's 81 to 82, 19 tracks, 9 previously unreleased. So I'm super excited about that. But all the other ones, so the 10 tracks of Trans plus the 9 unreleased now forms Johnny's Island. But of course, as I said, it was really released as Trans. But you get a cool alternate album cover with that. So I'm a little okay with that. But like I said, they could have released it as that. All right, next up, we've got Evolution from 83 to 84, packaged together with Touch the Light in 84. We go back to Evolution. This one here has 16 tracks, 8 of which are previously unreleased. The other songs that are on this thing, the other 8, Everybody's Rockin', and 1 from Lucky 13. So that's where we're going with that release. Then on 14, Touch the Night from 84, 8 tracks, and it's a mix of live and studio, but all of it unreleased. All of this. Again, they should have made that its own album since everything on there is unreleased. Okay, we're moving into CD 15, Gray Riders, 1984 to 85, 14 tracks on this one, 7 unreleased, a mix of live and studio again. Some of the tracks have been released on A Treasure, that album. This is packaged with Road of Plenty from 84 to 86, 9 tracks, 3 previously unreleased, and so the other 6 that have been released are from Landing on Water. And again, it's going to be interesting to hear these songs now in new track listings with the rest of those. Even though we know those songs, when they mix in the unreleased stuff with it, it should give us a different feel for those songs that would later turn up on those albums that we know. Okay, and this is a previously unreleased one as well. CD 17, Summer Songs 1987, 10 tracks, all unreleased in physical format. This is the first time it's coming out like this, but all have been digitally available from Neil Young's archives. So kind of a bummer that we're not getting a little booklet or something with these because they are the standalone releases. So those 3 unreleased albums we saw, okay, Oceanside, Johnny's Island, which was the trans, and Summer Songs. So I'm super excited about this. So like I said, I've got my little complaints about how it's packaged and could have been separated up a bit more. And there's no book that really gets into what any of this stuff is. So I'm actually glad that I did the whole Wikipedia thing, but I would like to know more information about the album, why it's packaged the way that it's packaged. And I guess I'm going to have to go online and look for interviews with Neil and stuff like that, and probably true archivists that really can tell us all those sort of things. But that is your 17 CDs that comes in this version of the box set, which you can get from local record stores this time, Amazon. You do not just have to order it from Neil Young. The box set last go around, I had to order from his website. Then later on, he issued versions of it, second pressings and third pressings and stuff like that. And again, I was bummed that he did that because I shelled out for the big limited run of this thing that sold out in its first day. So this time up, he did say, no, this is going to be available widely through these other locations and places. But I wanted this disc that only came if you ordered it off of the website. So I did benefit from it, although I didn't get mine on release day. I had to reach out to them, got no response, and then the next day I saw a delivery. So I guess they saw my email that said, hey, why didn't mine ship? It's already 3 days post the release of the box set. All in all, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little unboxing here, going through each of the discs, talking about it. If you want to know what the sound quality is like and you didn't have this to check out in advance like I did, it's all fantastic, first of all, because it's Neil Young. We know the quality of the stuff is going to be really good. And the live stuff is well recorded. The studio stuff is well recorded. So no issues there. If you've been watching this because you were concerned about the sound quality of some of the material that's within this stuff, this is all far superior to, say, the first box set that had some of those very early recordings from '69 and stuff that were good, but were truly archival in that regard. This other stuff here, of course, recording technology 10 years on and so forth is a lot better. But that's where we're at with this thing. Again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Certainly stick around on my channel, check out some other stuff. I got lots of other Neil stuff if you're a Neil fanatic, certainly having done the other box sets and reviews and all the recent albums and stuff like that, and the archival albums like Toast and stuff up here on the channel as well. But of course, I got a lot of other stuff. All right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.